Hi Kenny, welcome to Moyola Park TV and welcome back as first team manager of Moyola Park. Everyone at the club is very excited to have you back and we look forward to the next chapter under your tenure. A couple of wee questions just from some of the fans and the team here at Moyola. So Kenny, what does it mean to be back in charge of Moyola Park and what were the main reasons you accepted the position?
Well, as you know, I'm quite local to Moyola Park. And I've seen the seeds that's been planted, and I felt I would like to be part of that, because if you look at the history behind the club, and I share that with a lot of people where I've played here, I've managed here before and played here before. Alfie Stewart's done the same. I remember me and Alfie playing our last match for Moyola together, and that was his last game for Moyola, and he went to Glentoran. And I remember things like that, how big of an opportunity it is for young people, especially with your youth system, and the opportunities that might arise from that, where they will get moves. And looking at ways in which we can help assist that program, not to take it over, but to lend our hands to it.
Kenny, you're well known for playing a particular style of passing football, always very attractive in the eye. Is this something you'll want to implement straight away at Mill Meadow with Moyola?
Yes. In all my life and career as a football manager, I've never won the first game, so I want to try and change that at the weekend. But leaning on that point, I will say that it's really how players adapt to the needs of the system and the game model, and that has to be there. And we don't want them to be afraid to make mistakes. We have a duty to supporters all over the world. Football clubs have got a duty to try and understand that they're in the entertainment business, and it's important that we give them a product that is good in the eye, it's ambitious, and it's adaptable. So there will be mistakes in the early parts, especially. I'm expecting us to make mistakes that might concede goals and things like that early in the game. But if we give up because there's been 2 or 3 mistakes, then we're not going to progress. The only way you can progress in sport, and in football especially, is because there's so many connotations. But if you chicken away from it because you're worried about results, then you'll never be successful. And I have to try and convince the players that it's high risk, but just watch us grow as we prepare to move up to the next level.
So with the season only a few weeks old, Kenny, what are your short-term goals for the first team and what are your long-term ambitions at the club here at Moyola?
Well, the short term is to try and get into the top 6 or 7 and be in a league next season that's going to ask more questions of us. And we have to be ambitious. Without ambition, you're nothing, and we gotta be able to work hard for each other. And as that grows, we grow with it. And it's important that all the players know that there's a game model that will help them become better. There's a lot of young players coming through, which you spoke to me about tonight, and I know some of them, and that is vital that we get them on the upward ladder and get in around the team, get in the team, get in around the team, then get in the team again, and a little bit of a yo-yo. That's how they'll develop, make mistakes, learn from them, and help Moyola to grow because they're growing as well. So if we have that connection and those modules are moving together, then we've gone making a really good chance to get success.
Kenny, you've been involved in a voluntary position in the club for the past 12 months. helping to coach one of our young 2012 teams. How do you feel the Moyola Park youth setup should shape the future of the club? And will you want to implement a style of play that runs throughout the club from grassroots?
Yeah, I think that's important. And again, it's vital that it's done properly, where if half of the teams are playing to win, I'm talking about the youth system, and say some of the other teams are just playing, so some of the teams are playing to win, whereas the developmental coaches will help the young players get better. We have to get that common denominator. Everything we do in the youth setup is to make them understand that getting better never stops, not to go out to win and go home and their mommy and daddy's feeling really good because they won 4-0. But I've coached players like Steve Davis, Johnny Evans, big names, who have just become superstars in Northern Ireland, but they lost matches as youth players. Alfie Stewart played with me in that last match for Moyola, and we lost 8-2. Alfie moved to Glentoran the next week, and 1 year later, he's playing against PSG in the Euros, the European Championships with Glentoran. That's an example of the opportunities and the hope that players will stick at it and do well, because it's a really growing area of the country. You know, if you look at Macrofelt and Antrim's not far away, or teams and players that where we will get young players from is bringing in better opportunities for us because of that growth. And it's important now that we capitalise on that growth and make sure we get the right recruitment team in to get the right type of player in to get success in the long term.
Lastly, Kenny, have you a message for the fans as we look forward to a return home to our Mill Meadow pitch in the new year, hopefully with developments of a new playing surface at Mill Meadow? Have you a message for the fans as we look forward to that time?
I think the best message I can give them is that as we develop as a club, who's part of the club? And the supporters are a big part of the club. We haven't got massive numbers, but that will grow through success. And if we can keep that success moving and the supporters will buy into it, the common denominator in all of that is how we are together and the identity of everybody involved with the club. So if we can sustain the identity of being a club who plays the game the right way, who deals with young people the right way, and tries to progress the right way, then everybody will buy into that type of game model and that type of club, more importantly. And I want to be part of that. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you for your time. We wish you every success at Moyola Park in the season and seasons ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks.